Hello and welcome to the walkthrough for the Elite Quest Keep Them Under Our Wing for the Age of Empires Online Beta. Since this is a low level quest, I'm going to show you how to beat it using only two talents. Those two talents are the Storehouse and the Guard Tower. I'm also going to show you how to do it using only a low level advisor and one piece of equipment on the Guard Tower. That piece of equipment is an uncommon that you buy from the Empire store for 15 Empire points. And the advisor I'm using is the white level Apprentice Mason Philon, which you get at level 6 or 7 from the Advisor Hall quest. Now the first thing you want to do is select 3 of your workers and send them to the top right wood, and then use the rest of your workers to build guard towers. You want to make sure your workers are, those remaining workers are split among the guard towers that you're building. If you have all your workers building an individual guard tower, they won't put enough guard towers up before that first wave comes. Now select one. You also want to select one of those workers that is building a tower and send them to the lower left cliff, where you can put up a storehouse next to that stone. Now you might think that's really an odd location to put it because it's undefended, but it works out because first off, the AI kind of bugs a little trying to attack the workers on the stone, and any bandits that try to go up there to attack will actually run past your towers, and those towers will distract them, and instead they'll attack the towers instead of the workers up there. Now, tower positioning is also very important here. You want to create a kind of wall that you see on that center stone, blocking the middle path away from that stone, so they have to walk around there. And you also want to send 4 of your workers, so a total of 5 workers, on to that lower left-hand corner to mine. So right now you have 3 workers on the top right trees. You have 5 workers on the lower left stone, and the remaining workers are on the middle stone. Now, as you get enough resources to build more towers, you want to keep adding more towers on. And the position you want to put additional towers is you want to keep extending northward with those towers. It's very, once again, tower positioning is very important. Doing this quest took me quite a few attempts to figure out a viable strategy that would work 100% of the time. Most of the time, the timer would be counting down, and the enemy would be beating down the temple by the time the timer finished. This is the strategy I found that had a 100% success rate, so it should work for you, assuming you do it correctly. So notice that my wood and stone is getting a little imbalanced. What I'm going to do because of that is select a couple workers that were formerly on stone in the middle and send them to gather wood from the cliff on the lower left. It's the reason I send them over there is because it's a safer location, because it's just never attacked by the enemy that has to run past all my towers to get up there, and their pathing just won't allow them to do that. So right now I have 3 workers on wood in the lower left, 4 workers on wood in the lower 4 workers on stone in the lower left, 3 workers on wood in the top right, and then a few workers on the buildings. And I'm not really going to mine that much stone from the middle for right now. Pretty much all my workers, I have 4 workers set to building guard towers. And once again, you just keep extending those guard towers northward toward the temple that you're supposed to protect. And this creates kind of a lane that you form in the middle. Now, I think this strategy works better than the more circular formation, because toward the end, the guard tower fire is more focused on the advancing forces. Also, you can use this little lane to kite the enemy a little more effectively, and they take a ton of damage trying to walk through there. You do have to watch out, especially in the middle and to the top right. Occasionally, the enemy will walk around there and start attacking your workers. If the enemy comes by, you need to move. You need to run away with those workers and let your towers take care of it. Usually it's not a big deal. With those clubmen, they die very, very quickly to all your towers. But with the chieftains, the ones with the gigantic stick, they take a long time to die, so you need to run around quite a bit more, and they're quite a bit more dangerous. Now, as I get more and more resources, I'll just keep adding on more and more towers toward the north. It's just creating that little valley. Now notice that the bottom left side, even though there's no defense, it's just never attacked because enemies just always attack the towers instead. I mean, enemies will initially kind of path toward there, but they'll just get distracted by all those towers. Also notice I never repair any damaged towers, and the reason for that is the cost it takes to repair a damaged building is almost as much as it costs to build a new building entirely. So it's just not worth doing. Now I'm gonna, since I don't really have enough resources to put up another guard tower, I'm gonna start mining some from that center stone. That bottom left stone is gonna run out pretty soon, since I've been mining from it at zero distance for this for about 5 minutes now. When that stone mine goes down, I'm just gonna select all those workers that were on stone there and send them over to the middle to help build more, and maybe mine from that center stone. Notice there's more enemies that come from the right side. I have to pull away all my workers to stop them from dying. And notice that chieftain with that gigantic stick, he's very, very hardy. So it takes a long time for them to die. But notice those clubmen they die very, very quickly. Now, as I keep adding on more and more towers, at this point I realize that I'm not going to get enough stone to build another tower. I have 36 stone, I have 10 workers, and it's just not going to happen. The enemy's coming in too fast, and my towers aren't killing him fast enough. So really, at this point, I'm going to put up those last two towers that are building, and then I'm just going to run around with my workers and try to distract the enemy for as long as possible. You can't really kite that effectively because the enemy moves a little faster than you, so they'll always be able to knock out your workers, but you can just run around in circles around your towers and try to just delay it a little bit. Now here you can see me kiting around with my workers a little bit, doing a pretty bad job of it. It's not that big a deal because right now I have as many towers as I'd have up, as many towers as possible to have up. I'm just not going to get more resources. So now all my workers are dead. And really, at the 3-minute mark, or 3:30 mark, is when you know if you're going to win or not. So, you know, if you're going to kill all those enemies, then you'll probably win. And if you don't kill all of them, you'll probably lose. Now, the reason that layout is important is that notice that my towers are kind of focusing on those more advanced workers instead of focusing on like a big, spreading the damage out a little more. Now, that's why the layout's important, so that you kind of pick off those very strong chieftains, and you kind of leave those weaker clubmen for later. Now here you can see I'm finally thinning out the wave, with 10 towers still left standing. And really at this point you just kind of have to you can kind of alt-tab out and just wait. I mean, the outcome is pretty much determined at this point. So you just see little waves of clubmen come in, and they'll smash themselves against the towers and die. I'll just say once again that this strategy took quite a while for me to figure out. There were multiple failures and a lot of different strategies that I tried. I tried bunkering myself in at the lower left, and spreading myself in a big circle in the middle part where I started all my structures. But really the key is just extending upward from the middle towards the temple to make a little valley of towers. There's really not a whole lot else to say. I mean, you can just watch all the clubmen bash themselves to death against these towers. Just reiterate once again that I'm not using any high-level equipment. The one piece of gear at my towers is the uncommon fortifications that you buy for 15 Empire points from your Empire store. And as you saw, my workers had absolutely nothing on them. There you can see the advisors I'm using. There are high-level advisors on the age 2, 3, and 4 slots, but they actually don't help this strategy at all because the level 2 advisor reduces unit cost by 12%, and I'm obviously not creating any units that use food. So here you can see just the last 2 minutes, last minute. You pretty much have nothing to do. You just watch the enemies come in. Anyway, I hope you appreciate the walkthrough and leave any comments if you have any comments.